choking the chicken, playing the clitor, painting the pickle, whatever you want to call having some quality alone time, there's no denying that masturbation is one of the best ways to beat boredom. But how can it affect your mental health? Specifically, does it give you anxiety? In this video, we will look at whether this is the case or not, and if you do have anxiety, there is a link in the description box where you can listen to a free audio on how to reduce anxiety. What happens when you quote-unquote wank? Sure, most of you had that all figured out when you were around 13 and you touched yourself and you would usually orgasm. But what does that actually mean for your brain? Well, masturbation, like sex, stimulates the thousands of nerves in your genitalia which send positive signals to the brain. A combination of mental and physical excitement slowly builds until you reach peak sexual arousal, which is called the orgasm. A mass of neurochemicals flood the brain, creating an overwhelming sense of euphoria. In fact, as you orgasm, the part of the brain that deals with reason and logic literally shuts down. That's right, you can literally have sex with somebody until they are senseless. But what does this all mean for mental health? Okay, so the first thing that we need to mention is that obviously mental health is a huge area to cover. So in the interest of simplicity, let's look at depression and anxiety. Depression and anxiety are two of the so-called common mental health problems, a blanket term that also covers OCD, PTSD, schizophrenia, bipolar, and pretty much every other mental issue you've ever heard of. Depression and anxiety go hand in hand. They have a number of causes, but one popular theory is brain chemical imbalance, a lack of dopamine and serotonin, the neurochemicals that are responsible for mood stability and your brain's reward system. Are you still with me? Okay, so let's talk about masturbation. What can masturbation do to your mental health? Well, there's actually a great deal of disagreement over what masturbation can do to your mental health. You see, when you orgasm, alongside shutting down that rational part of your brain, you're flooded with a ton of dopamine. Pretty much the only reason humans enjoy masturbation is the pleasure we feel from the chemical reward at the end, which is the orgasm. But like a good old-fashioned Netflix binge, the more you do something, the less rewarding it feels. Take that Saturday morning when you start watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Suddenly by the 10th episode, it just doesn't seem as funny. The same can happen with masturbation. Excessive masturbation, like frequently using internet porn, may desensitize you to dopamine and make masturbation less rewarding over time. It doesn't cause depression per se, but it can emulate symptoms. Excessive masturbation, like frequently using internet porn, may desensitize you to dopamine, making it less rewarding over time. In other words, you won't want your dopamine levels to go low at all costs. People who suffer from low dopamine find life less joyful, feel dissatisfied with their lives most of the time, and are at much higher risk of social anxiety and depression. Now, what porn addiction does is it gives your brain a very high dose of dopamine in a very short period of time, and as a result, it makes your brain less responsive to the normal levels of dopamine released naturally by the body. Porn addicts were found to have chronically low dopamine levels all the time between porn sessions. In other words, if you watch porn on Saturday, then did it again Wednesday, then most probably you will suffer from low dopamine levels from Saturday through Wednesday. In other words, you will feel more anxious, less confident, more depressed until the next session, which will only elevate your dopamine levels for a few hours and then reduce them once you're done. So the important message here is don't stop wanking, just maybe don't go overboard. Do all things in moderation.